What's up, strongest men, women, and children from blocks all around the world? I am my block's strongest man, and today I have for you a very, very special guest, the legendary Donna Moore.
Ciao, homie. Welcome back to My Block's Strongest Man, where we bring strongman into the mainstream by discussing all of the latest strongman events in the greatest analytic detail that you'll find anywhere on YouTube. If you haven't done so yet, subscribe to this channel. Make sure to comment below whether you agree or disagree with my videos. I love the engagement, and I respond to every single comment. Now on to today's topic.
So let's rewind a little bit. Tell us a little bit about your roots, your upbringing, your background, an interesting story from your roots that folks might find interesting.
So I was born in Germany, actually, and my parents were in the services, so that's where we were based at the time. I'm an only child, so
Me too.
yeah, and obviously people always say, "Well, you're lonely" and things like that, but I never was. I enjoy like my own company and my own kind of space. So no, and really, we just came from Germany back to the UK and just stayed based in one place, really. So I've kind of lived most of my up to the age of 19 living here in Yorkshire, where I had horses. Really, that was my thing. I used to enjoy horse riding and looking after horses, and that was about it, really. That was my main thing that I enjoyed to do. My first job was as a lifeguard, so that was just in the local swimming pool. But then I left and went to the south of England, to Canterbury in Kent, where I lived for a while before relocating to Scotland, and I stayed there for most of the time. So that's where my kind of strong journey and like journey of finding myself started. So that's where I class that as my home. So I don't have much of like an interesting thing, kind of just went through life, and this is where I've ended up, I suppose.
No, that is very interesting. Do you still speak German?
No, I didn't speak very much of it then. My mum says that I could, but no, not now.
I learned it in high school. I was quite good with it back then, but I'm out of practice. I actually went to Catholic school, so they made us say the prayers every day. So I still, from repetition, can repeat those in German. I just can't have a full conversation.
Yeah, no, I could maybe get enough to get by and order a sandwich. I could probably do that in French as well. But that's about it, really. No, not very multilingual over here.
That's interesting. So, did you have a hero growing up, and has that changed today?
No, I don't really. I'm not really sure that I did. I enjoyed lots of different things from different, like aspects of life. I do remember that we used to, my dad and I used to go to a cafe, and the cafe owner had lots of like cinema pictures all over the wall, and it was Arnold Schwarzenegger in Commando. And I remember looking at that, thinking to myself, God, that's amazing. That's something that I liked. So I've always liked following his journey, really. And I do find that quite an inspirational journey, that like a bodybuilder from Austria could become part of the government in America. It's kind of like you would never think that would be a thing. So I wouldn't say like any particular heroes. I've met so many wonderful people along the way that I suppose everybody's a little bit of a hero in their own way. I think you can take something from everybody that you meet. Lots of other people that have had health issues, and I work for the National Health Service now. So those people are inspirational and heroes to me, because they're overcoming like illnesses, or I'm supporting people whose family members are passing away. So it's been their particular journey, listening to those stories about their person. I like things like that. They're the things that I find inspirational, and regular people are like the heroes to me, I suppose.
Yeah, that's very insightful, and kudos to you for doing a job that's so helpful to so many people.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoy looking after people. So, and I don't know how that ever came about, but because I was always just interested in looking after animals, really. But yeah, I do enjoy looking after people and finding out what their lives have been like, and applying the fact that like somebody's always been somebody's person, you know. So this person's meant something to people throughout their life, and I like that.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
For sure. That's wonderful. So, kind of going back into competition talk, you've broken some records. Do you prefer record breaking or full sets of events?
To me, now it doesn't really matter. If there was a record up for grabs that I'd be interested in, then I would set that as a target. I've enjoyed training for like the Atlas records, but that's mainly because they're like my thing. And I really like natural stone lifting as well. But I like the variety of competition because as well, you have to be good at everything. It's not like they'd be the standout at one thing, and I've worked really hard to be quite consistently balanced at just about every event, that none of them are particularly bad. Like I've said before, and I like always say that I wouldn't be a greatest fan of the yoke, but that just makes me train harder for it, so that I wouldn't have a really bad result with it. I feel like my soul is escaping from my body every time I step underneath it, but it's just another factor to overcome and just work well to be, consistently decent at everything and technically proficient as well. I spend quite a lot of time doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I think for folks who have never done a yoke, I haven't either, but I've interviewed people who have, and I think part of that is the air thing. Like, I interviewed Erin Stoney, and she told me when she does yoke, she takes a big breath at the beginning, get through it as fast as she can, and holds it the whole time. Otherwise, she's imbalanced, and that might be part of the soul escaping thing, that you're trying to hold it internal air pressure to keep it stabilized.
Yeah, just trying to hold like your whole life together for 25 meters or 50 meters or whatever distance it's going to be. So yeah, it's not my favorite, but I'm all right at it. So I think that's the biggest thing with like competitions, is not focusing solely on one particular event. You need to be like the master of them all. So OSG last time, I don't think I came out of the top 3 or 4 in anything. So that was consistently better than everything else. And I think of maybe only one event. So, you don't have to win them all to be the winner. You just have to be consistent at the top. I think the same happened with Martins, and I think the same has happened with Alexei Novikov as well. If you look at the guys, he was consistently good at everything, and I think only had like one event win. So, be a master of all of the things.
Yeah, I think Brian Shaw is kind of famous for that as well. Like he does win events, but in many competitions he's 2 or 3 in everything, and that's enough points to win. Yeah, he's just consistent.
Yeah, that's right. Because some people do have like big glaring chinks in what they can't do as well. So other people are just a bit better, and it can split the points out. Just even by dropping 2 places, it can make the difference to winning and not winning if you're out of the top 3.
Yeah, but it's interesting that you bring up kind of being the master of everything, because I think from a fan standpoint, and I'm guilty of this too, we watch like World's Strongest Man 2020 and complain like, oh, the event was supposed to be this, and they changed it on the athletes and made it this. And honestly, everybody I interview says they enjoy the unpredictability of, being prepared for things you can't prepare for is part of the joy.
Yeah, I agree with that. I haven't had many things ever changed on me particularly, but I probably wouldn't be that bothered if it was, along like a similar theme. If it was changed from, like a different kind of loading or a different kind of object, it's still the same. You're still picking up something and running with it. So I wouldn't be bothered. But again, I think that's another skill that you learn, like say, to be prepared for any eventuality, like the rain when you're outside. Yeah.
I saw that when you lifted the Dinnie stones, it was raining in the middle of it. Like, how do you maintain your grip?
Well, the first, my Dinnie lift is actually with straps because it was raining. I thought to myself, just so heavy and awkward. I actually want a lift, so they were allowing you to lift with women to lift with the strap. So I just took that as my actual option because I just thought to myself, this is hard enough task in the dry, let alone in the rain. And the warm up for that is, when we're talking about warm ups, the warm up for that is it's not near to the weights and the actual Dinnie stone themselves. Although the Dinnie training pins, you can obviously load them and you can practice the special grip and stuff. The Dinnie stones are actually a lot bigger in real life than I was anticipating. So my legs were a lot further apart than I had been practicing with. So, and then you get 3 attempts. So I tried it once with the straps, which was successful, and then twice without. But it's like there's a picture, and literally it's just like half a centimeter that the front one needed to be off the ground for it to be a good lift, but it just didn't work out. So they said I could have tried later on in the day, but by then I'd been doing the Ardblair Stones as well, and I was like, no, I'm done. Sick of the rain. I'll take my stones and wait for another day.
I didn't realize that was the same day. So the Ardblair is like a famous set of Atlas stones. Is that fair? Yeah.
They're totally tackless Atlas stones to the whiskey barrels. They're quite high actually as well. There's if you see pictures of me doing it, they're like I'm literally right up here trying to get them on. And they start really, really tiny, like a little shot put kind of size. And the last one isn't exceptionally heavy. It would be less than my actual world record stone, but they're bigger, and there's no tacky towels, no nothing. And it's free to have a go, so all the members of the public can have a go. And if it's been in the rain all day, then they're wet as well. The ground's wet, there's big holes because everyone's dropped them on the floor. So it's they're a really, really big challenge. Actually, you have to use all of your stone lifting wonderfulness to get anything out of there. So I enjoy them.
Okay. So kind of what would you say is your main competition approach or style? Like some people like Brian Shaw are very methodical. Other people are yelling and screaming. Where do you fall on that spectrum?
Probably a little bit in between. So I kind of like to keep my composure as much as I can. I listen to music and wander around quite a lot. Would be stomping backwards and forwards around the arena. But that's just because I just want to be alone mainly and thinking about the task ahead. So each individual event, I think about it separately. Like this 60 seconds is dedicated to this deadlift ladder, for example, official strongman games, and there's lots of big deadlifters in the heavyweight women. So I knew that I needed to really not mess this up at all, and really transition quickly between the bars. So those are the things that I was visualizing myself doing. So kind of quite composed about those things actually happening. But then afterwards, I'm all stompy. There's a video of stomping and jumping and doing loads of stuff. But generally, I think I'd be quite calm at the events. If I'm in the gym, I do sometimes get a bit stumpy, great big circuit of the gym, and I'm right, let's walk and do this kind of thing. And that depends how many people are in the gym, obviously. whether I've got the space to start stomping around. But it's kind of like a mixture of calmed, controlled aggression. I don't know if those are the words you can all put together, but that's how I feel about it.
That's really interesting. So, I mean, before kind of the current world situation, were you at a gym or working out at home?
At the gym, I had two or three places that I would go to train, depending on the time that I have with the shift work. So just trying to fit everything in my gyms. One of them is an hour drive, which I know doesn't sound a lot to you, but to us here, we don't like that. So
you don't need. No, it's interesting you say that. We don't either. So it depends where you are in the U.S. In New Jersey, anything an hour and above is far. In California, it's not.
Well, there we go then. So it's to me, I don't want to have to drive 2 hours just to then do a training session for 2 hours, that's quite a lot of time out of my day, and then I may have to go to work on a late shift, so it starts off really early and like the whole day continues until 11 p.m. when you get home. So I had before the pandemic been training out of, like I say, three gyms, but at the moment I'm like outside of my garage basically. So yeah, it's been a very steep learning curve, and it reminds me how much I don't like the outside.
Lifting vehicles and whatnot?
No, sadly, no. It'd be more interesting if I was. Maybe it would be a bit more acceptable, but no, it's just normal gym things. I've just recently been given a set of bumper plates. That's made my life raise my happiness levels considerably. So it's just the small things.
Awesome. So I don't know if you want to discuss it, but have you ever had any serious injuries, and kind of do you have a story about overcoming injuries that maybe would inspire other people?
I have to say I haven't had any particular injuries at all until recently. So I was training for the Ardblair Stone World record that I did there in September, and before I did that record, something happened to my knee. And it just didn't like me doing anything. Even getting it out of the car was a problem. It was all swollen around, mainly around the back of it. But it affected, because it was so swollen, it affected the ability to bend. So, and it was really, I have to say, exceptionally painful, because you don't realise, just in your general life, how much you bend your leg up and down the stairs, standing up, in and out of the cars, and looking after people as well. I've always need my knee, basically. So that's been a bit troublesome, and it still is now. So we're at the end of February, coming into March, and it's nearly 6 months that I've been rehabbing this particular injury, and I still can't squat to anywhere near depth. So that's going to have an impact on log cleans and stone lifting. Is something that I've been really concentrating on rehabbing and trying to get the range of motion back. I had an MRI on it, but it wasn't that conclusive because it was so much fluid in it. They couldn't really see that much what was going on. But it definitely is better. It was locking in place. I would have to twist it to be able to get it to bend again.
Oh,
it was just a big mess. But thankfully it is getting better. So I suppose in some ways it's good that there's no competitions for maybe another few months, because I need the time to be able to get it better.
Fully recovered. Yeah.
So I'm really quite fortunate that I think that's smart programming, recovery, listening to my body as well, that I haven't been injured. There's different people, just plow on if they're injured and just keep going, or I'm blocking out the pain. But the pain's there for a reason, and I really do feel that people should pay more attention, not just for their strongman career, but their actual longevity in life, which will be longer than being in strongman. That should go and get these issues looked at least what you're dealing with, and try to work around them as much as possible. Obviously, not saying don't train, but if you're causing yourself a lot of pain and further swelling and further injury, you're not doing it correctly. So I think it's just being wise to that fact. So I've been tediously wise to that fact, and it is quite boring rehabbing it, I have to say, but it's going to be for the greater good, and hopefully there'll be good results at competition when it's actually back running properly.
Yeah, absolutely. Get you back sooner that way, rather than re-causing the injury and taking longer.
Yeah, definitely. And like I say, for just general longevity, and I think it is difficult maybe when you're starting out, or if you're in the middle of being really competitive, that you think, well, I'm just gonna keep going. But you do have a life after this, the strongman is finished, and you want to be, active and healthy for the rest of the time. So I think paying a bit more attention to the details, as tedious as it might be, I find it tedious as well, but it's better in the long run.
So I really appreciate you jumping on today. I've learned a ton about your background, your accomplishments, insightful nature in terms of just humankind. It's been a lot of fun for me. So why don't you take this opportunity to tell everybody how they can follow you, keep in touch, anything you like to promote, sponsorships, whatever you like.
So people can follow me on Instagram. It's Donna Moore Strongwoman. I do have a Facebook page, but Instagram is probably the best place to get in touch with me. I haven't like broached into other social media just yet, so yeah, send me a message on Instagram, or you can like comment on a video, which is more likely that what I would see. And you can message me on Messenger separately. Again, it's just Donna Moore. You'll see the profile picture. It's just obviously me. So that's the main thing. That's about it, really. I haven't got any other social media.
All right, fantastic. Well, thanks again, Donna, for jumping on today. I really, really appreciate it. And maybe we catch up again after your next competition.
Okay, sure. Take care. Thank you for having me. You too. Bye.
Bye.
So if you like this video and haven't done so yet, please consider subscribing using that button right there. And also stay tuned for some other videos that you might love blooping up right there. This one is the one that YouTube thinks that you will like the best, and this one is the one that I think you will like the best. As always, share this with everyone, and until next time, ciao, homie.